welcome to Rev Sports. I'm Gargi Raut, and joining me for this conversation is Devashish Sen. We're in Manchester, outside of the Old Trafford Stadium, and as you can tell, it's been raining quite heavily in Manchester. It's been raining, there's been proper downpour since the past couple of days. The Indian team had to practice closed doors inside the Lancashire cricket ground and had to take up the indoor practice nets to get their practice session going. But pitch is covered, ground is wet. At this point, India have had no practice session on the main ground. But today, we're still hopeful that they will be able to get their practice session in. It's match day -2. Tomorrow, they will practice as well. And at the moment, there are a lot of questions that are cropping up. Suddenly, the Indian camp has been hit with a lot of injuries. There is a concern with Akashdeep, with his back. There is obviously Arshdeep Singh, who has been ruled out of the match and will probably be ruled out of the next match as well, considering the seriousness of his cut that he's got on his finger at this point. He's got stitches on his finger. And of course, number 3, we have a Jasprit Bumrah and the management who will be thinking about his workload as well. So Devashish, this leaves the Indian pace attack open-ended once again. Are you concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. Big concerns for the Indian team, because when you have and obviously the options one after the other getting injured, then there is definitely a concern. Yes, Arshdeep Singh, who we all thought that he might be making his debut here at Old Trafford, but that is not the case, because he had an injury while training at Beckenham. But then the biggest concern which is cropping up for the Indian camp is Akashdeep Singh. Obviously, after his incredible performance at Edgbaston, where he got those 10 wickets and helping India win, despite the absence of Jasprit Bumrah. So definitely, it gave Indian camp a lot of hope that now we have got a number 3 pacer who could be a good support for both Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. But now with Akashdeep Singh recuperating his old injury, the back injury and the groin strain, I think if he is not available, that is definitely a huge concern for the Indian team, because with Arshdeep Singh ruled out for the next 2 test matches, and now with Akashdeep, there's an uncertainty over his availability for the 4th test here at Old Trafford. Indian camp is left with the option of only Anshul Kamboj, who has joined the team yesterday in the evening, and Prasidh Krishna. So, and obviously Prasidh Krishna, he has bowled well, but in patches. So obviously there is a lot to look forward to. So I think it's a huge concern for the Indian team going into the 4th test here at the Old Trafford, Gagi.
Absolutely. And we all say that test cricket is a reflection of life. And life is fickle, and so is test cricket. This is what has happened with the Indian team as of now. After that Edgbaston test, we were all going away with so many positives, especially the Indian management when it comes to the pace bowling attack. Finally, without a Jasprit Bumrah, not only did you take all 20 wickets, which was a concern at Leeds. We all said that there are no wicket takers in the team, there are no breakthroughs, but that concern went out the window when Akashdeep took 10 wickets, when Mohammad Siraj took 7 wickets, and the Indian bowling attack was finally looking well-rounded, even without a Jasprit Bumrah in the team. But now, that concern is coming back into the Indian camp. The problem here is, when we think of a Manchester that traditionally offers a lot of swing, a lot of seam movement as well, you would think that if you want to rest a Jasprit Bumrah, which is unlikely at this point, but now that we have a injury concern with Akashdeep, your backup was Arshdeep Singh, who has been practicing with the red ball for 1.5 years. He has played for Kent. He is well versed with the English conditions, can swing the ball both ways. So he could have been a real asset for the Indian team in these conditions at the Old Trafford. But now, with no Akashdeep, possibly no Akashdeep, if he is not fit by day after, and you also don't have an Arshdeep Singh, who do you play?
Obviously, as I said, you are left with only 2 options in Prasidh Krishna and Anshul Kamboj, and it will be unfair on Anshul Kamboj. Yes, He has picked. He has done tremendously well in domestic cricket, picking those 74 wickets in the first class cricket last season for Haryana, and then he also has done well in those two 4-day matches against England Lions. So he has a fair idea about the conditions, but obviously playing a 4-day game against England Lions and playing and to be pitted against a test side, England test side here at Old Trafford, it's too much of asking if you ask me. So I think it won't be fair as well for Anshul Kamboj, who means on 2 days after you travel from India, you have to settle in, acclimatize to the conditions, get used to the conditions here at Old Trafford, and then to be playing your maiden test match. That it's too much of asking. At the same time, you have a Prasidh Krishna who has bowled well in patches. So yes, problem of plenty, because you have only two premier fast bowlers in Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. You need a third pacer in these conditions who could be handy. So in that case, Akashdeep, we all know he has done well, tremendously well in Edgbaston, winning you that test match along with Mohammad Siraj, despite the absence of Jasprit Bumrah. But if Akashdeep is not available for that fourth test match, then you have problems of plenty, because then you are left with only two options.
You are only left with an Anshul Kamboj and a Prasidh Krishna. Now, there has been, when it comes to Prasidh Krishna, there has been a lot of backlash from the fans, especially after that Leeds test match at Headingley. He gave away, he was the most expensive bowler in that match. He was bowling waywardly. He would bowl two good balls and then suddenly there would be so many loose balls and the English batters would not hold themselves back from punishing those deliveries. But at Edgbaston, he fixed those issues. He was bowling consistent lines. Maybe it was the mental a sort of temperament there that we don't have a Jasprit Bumrah to fall back on, so the responsibility is on me. And that's how the Indian bowling attack ended up doing so well. But again, there does not mean one good performance does not make or break, or let's say even one bad performance does not make or break a bowler. At this point, will the management trust Prasidh Krishna once again? That is the question. When it comes to Anshul Kamboj as well, he's new to the setup and the series is open right now. One win could change the course of this series. One loss could change the course of this series.
But Gargi, you have left with no other options but to rely on experience.
Exactly.
And with Prasidh Krishna, he has already played that first test match at Headingley. So you have to repose your faith on your experienced bowler rather than investing in Anshul Kamboj. Yes, Anshul Kamboj has been flown in just as a precautionary measure in case Akashdeep is not fit and available for the fourth test match. We are all expecting that Akashdeep will be ready, will be fit and available for that all-important first test match. Remember, India are trailing in the series 1-2. So you need a backup. You need a backup for Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. Both of them has been relentless, especially what talking about Mohammad Siraj. He has put up a lion-hearted performance in the series so far. And having said that, obviously he has been a part of the test setup. In India, he has been part of that playing 11 in the last 24 test matches out of 27, and that speaks volumes about the mental setup, the physical ability of Mohammad Siraj. But I think when you talk about the workload management, when you have already rested a Jasprit Bumrah and now that Mohammad Siraj, he has been playing out and out, means every test match he's giving up his best. He did not do well in that first test match in Headingley, but he bounced back and put up a great performance, brilliant performance in Edgbaston. So I think you need to have that third backup, which is not the case with England. Remember, they have a Bryden Carse, they have a Jofra Archer. He has immediately made an impact for the England side, and they also have a Chris Fox, and now they have an added option of a Gus Atkinson as well. So England will, and they have a Ben Stokes. And they have a Ben Stokes. So England will...
And Ben Stokes bowl the most overs.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you could actually compare, if you look at the two bowling options, fast bowling options of both sides, India are left with two premier fast bowlers, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj, and they have to rely on the inexperience of a Prasidh Krishna or Anshul Kamboj or hopefully Akashdeep Singh if he is available. So I think definitely England will have their tails up.
Let's try to decipher the combination a little bit if Akashdeep does not play. You have a Nitish Kumar Reddy as a backup pacer. He bowled quite a few overs in that last test match as well at Lord's and did well as well. He was swinging the ball. He got those two breakthroughs, remember, in that one single over.
13th over, yes.
both openers he got in 1 over. But if you do not have an Akashdeep Singh, would you bring in an Arshdeep? Will you bring in a Prasidh Krishna, or will you possibly go for a Shardul Thakur as well?
Definitely Prasidh Krishna. Prasidh Krishna has to play because he is a premier fast bowler and he is an experienced guy. And you cannot just risk an Anshul Kamboj straight away. Yes. But if you are left, means obviously it will all depend on the team management. But I would rather pick a Shardul Thakur if you ask me.
Oh.
Yes, yes,
so
he has.
What would be your combination?
He has not done well in that one-off test in that first test in Headingley.
But he got the ball very late.
Yes, but having said that, in these conditions, you have to rely on a bowling all-rounder. Suppose if Akashdeep is not playing,
right,
I will only bring Shardul Thakur into account.
Into the mix, yeah.
If Akashdeep is not playing, if Akashdeep is available, then you go in with a Nitish Reddy because he has those two partnerships. Means obviously India might not end up winning those that test match at Lords, but he has definitely withered the pressure when they were 5 wickets down at the Lords, that fourth innings at Lords. So I think you have to give an opportunity to Shardul Thakur if Akashdeep misses out.
Absolutely. And who are your spinners then?
Obviously, you have to get in a Kuldev Yadav. It's high time India plays a Kuldev Yadav. Means without a doubt.
But don't you think then
you have to drop. You have to. Obviously, it's a tricky call for the team management. Means obviously, your three premier fast bowlers for me for Old Trafford Test. If you ask me, match day -1 with one more practice session, I would say Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, Akashdeep. I still have a lot of hope in Akashdeep making himself available and playing this test match. If suppose Akashdeep misses out, you get in a Prasidh Krishna. Those are your three premium fast bowlers. I would say Prasidh Krishna / Anshul Kamboj, and then you have to rely on Nitish Reddy. If Akashdeep plays, Nitish Reddy also keeps his place. If Akashdeep does not play, then you have to get in a Shardul Thakur who can, because these conditions here will definitely favor a bit of seam and swing, and then you have to pick 20 wickets because yes, despite picking 20 wickets, you ended up losing that test match in Lords. And remember, you are 1-2 down. You have to try and win this test match to keep the series alive. If you lose this test match, your hopes are gone. Your hopes are gone. So I think it will be a tricky call, Gargi, if you ask me. So Kuldev Yadav, I would say, means we had spoken to Dilip Vengsarkar, we have spoken to Farooq Engineer, and everyone has said that get in a Kuldev Yadav. Yes. Get in a Kuldev Yadav in your playing 11, and in doing so, if you have to drop a Nitish Reddy, so be it. But you have to get a bowler who will get you those wickets, a wicket-taking bowler.
Absolutely, and we spoke ahead of the leading up to the series as well. We spoke to a Brad Hogg, we spoke to a Michael Clark. Everybody said that we will have Kuldeep Yadav in every single match. All 5 test matches, you keep a Kuldeep Yadav in your team. He gives you that mystery. He gives you also a breakthrough option, which we were lacking in Leeds. But things have changed since then. You have found a lot of faith in your pace bowling options. But there is still a lot coming. And we will only be able to figure out what the combinations are, how Akashdeep is looking, whether or not he will play the next match or at the Old Trafford, because only in match day -2 and match day -1 sessions will you be able to figure out what's really going on. When you see the bowlers, or let's say the players, and you try to decipher their intensity and what intensity they're bowling or batting with, that's when you get a hint at who will make it to the team. And obviously that slip cordon practice where we have been which has always hinted at what the playing 11 was going to be.
And Gargi, one thing I missed out, means what is even more concerning, that if you are carrying a recurring back injury or a groin injury, obviously in your subconscious mind when you bowl, you will always have that thing in mind, whether to go out, means obviously with that intensity a test match has been played, there's always that doubt, means obviously if he breaks down,
yes,
what happened if he misses out, means big concern. So I would rather pick a fit bowler. I would rather pick, if I am the team management, I would rather go for a fit bowler who would and perhaps play a Anshul Kamboj or a Prasidh Krishna if Akashdeep is 80%, 90% fit.
Which also leaves you with the option of giving Akashdeep enough time to recover before Oval.
Because if Bumrah plays this test match,
yes,
given that he will play 3 test matches in the series,
might not play
might not play in Oval. Then you
And-
have to play Akashdeep,
Yeah.
who has done well in the
Very
series.
well.
So that lot of problem, lot of concerns for the Indian team.
But we will only find that out in a few hours. The Indian team practices here at the Old Trafford. We will be inside. We will be bringing you all the updates and try to understand what the team is looking like, especially the players that are injured. So don't forget to join us and also like.